Welcome everyone. Welcome to the Weatherize Concord launch this morning. Thanks for joining us. My name is Rob Werner. I'm City Councilor from Ward 5 and I chair the Concord Energy and Environment Advisory Committee. Our goal is to weatherize at least 80 homes and businesses in Concord in 2021. This program will run through the end of the year, while improving home comfort, reducing energy costs, reducing carbon emissions, and improving health. On the health aspect, better indoor air quality, reducing asthma triggers is certainly something that is a benefit for this program. And the Weatherize Concord campaign fits well into our overall energy goals for our city and our commitments to reduce our energy use. Energy efficiency is very important. The cheapest unit of energy, one that is not used. I want to thank the many volunteers that have made this campaign possible. Our committee members, our many volunteers helped with our banner design and the signs that we'll be talking about. We have the banners that are up in downtown Concord now on South Main Street and on Loudon Road. And we have signs for folks. There are two kinds of signs. Let's Weatherize and I have Weatherize, and those can be put out in front of folks' homes as this program goes along. Visit weatherizeconcord.org for more information and to sign up. And we'll be talking more about the details of the program and how you get involved and how folks sign up and eligibility for the program. But I'm going to turn it over now to our mayor, Mayor Boulay, for a few words. And then I'll be sort of emceeing the event as we go along and hear from various folks that are supportive of the program, and we'll tell you more about it. Mayor Boulay.
Well, thank you, Councilor. I appreciate it. As you know, the City of Concord has the goal of transitioning to 100% renewable energy, and we adopted a strategic plan for implementing that goal to reduce our energy costs and to help address climate change. So the renewable energy plan recognizes that energy efficiency is a key component to meeting the renewable energy goals, and quite frankly, can help the residents and businesses reduce their energy costs. So it's with a real pleasure that I get to recognize and thank the hard work of the Concord Energy and Environment Advisory Committee, one of our many outstanding committees in the city. But today, in launching the Weatherization of Concord campaign, I think it's a huge step leap forward to meeting that goal that the city has. The Weatherization campaign benefits, quite frankly, everyone in our community and in direct and real practical ways, and I think can make a real difference. So first, we know that it saves money. We know that weatherization pays off. Investments, whether it be in insulation, air sealing, more efficiency in lighting, appliances, heating systems, and they result in reductions of home and business energy bills. The weatherization home projects typically result in at least 20% reductions in annual energy costs. And since these costs of these improvements are offset by New Hampshire Saves, the payback period on your investment is significantly reduced. The weatherization project will also help combat climate change. And here in Concord, we did recently a study that found that fuel used that heat homes in Concord comprises a substantial portion of the city's overall carbon footprint, about 35%. And electricity used to power our homes and businesses add a whopping about 18% to the city's carbon emissions. So lastly, I want to just share with you that I think it's important. This will also provide a much greater home comfort and health to our community. The customers report noticeable improvements in the comfort of their homes, both in the summer and the winter. And adding home insulation and air sealing is like putting a cozy blanket around your home for the winter. So I strongly encourage everyone to reach out to participate in the Weatherization Concord campaign. And again, I really want to thank Councilor Warner, the rest of my fellow city councilors for initiating this opportunity for our residents.
Thanks, Mayor Boulay. I'm going to turn it over to Ben Stevenson, partners from Unitil. Our partners in this effort, our utilities, Liberty and Unitil, are really important, obviously, in terms of how the program works. So Ben's going to talk a little bit about eligibility and how folks sign up. And from the energy management point of view of utilities. Go ahead.
Thanks, Rob. Hi, everyone. My name is Ben Stevenson from Unitil, your local electric utility. And on behalf of Liberty Utilities, your local natural gas utility, we are excited to partner with the Weatherize Concord campaign to help promote energy efficiency throughout the city of Concord. The utilities have a rebate for every energy efficiency need your home may have, whether you're changing a light bulb to an LED or want to have your whole home evaluated for installation needs. By going to Weatherize Concord's homepage, you can find the utility rebate program that will work best for you. That page can bring you into the New Hampshire Saves program that you need the most. Everything is there, from air source heat pump rebates to energy audits for your home or business, LED lighting, efficient natural gas heating systems, or even a new heat pump water heater. The utilities want to help you make these energy efficiency decisions to make your home more efficient, more comfortable, and more affordable. We look forward to helping Concord reach its energy efficiency goals through the Weatherize Concord campaign, and we'll be striving to have at least 80 customers weatherize their home this year between Liberty and Unitil's Home Performance with Energy Star program. And you can get a rebate of 75% up to $8,000 through those programs. So let's get going. Visit Weatherize Concord today and find out if your home qualifies for an energy audit.
Thanks, Ben.
Yeah.
Senator Whitley, this program, obviously, a lot of communities are doing this in New Hampshire. The Upper Valley did it not too long ago to great success, and other communities around the country are following these programs. Tell us a little bit about how this fits into the overall picture in New Hampshire in terms of our energy goals and what we'd like to accomplish in New Hampshire.
Thanks, Rob. So again, my name is Becky Whitley, and I represent New Hampshire Senate District 15, which includes Concord. I just want to first say a huge thank you to the many people who have gotten this program up and running, and the City of Concord for your leadership on this incredibly critical issue. You know, in a larger context, we know that climate change impacts all of us and is a real, clear, and present danger to our state's public health and our economic future. You know, we all know that scientists tell us we have only 10 years left to take serious action to combat the climate crisis. And we know that New Hampshire has to be a leader in the region. And if we don't, we're going to lose the innovation race. And science has to be the foundation for smart policy and action. You know, we live in a state full of incredible natural beauty, which is so integral to our health and our economy. Yet we have fallen behind our fellow New England states when it comes to preserving our environment and taking meaningful action on climate change. That's why local action is so important. Climate action is a clear and present danger, and we have to take action. So I think we owe it to future generations to listen to the science and take action now to ensure a healthy climate for future generations. As a mom, that means everything to me. Left unchecked, climate change will have a negative impact on New Hampshire's residents, economy, environment, and there are significant costs of inaction. And failure to do so, to take action, imposes greater costs on New Hampshire in the future. So I just want to commend the city and all the many stakeholders for recognizing the enormity of the challenges we face as a state and providing crucial local and state leadership on this issue. Thank you.
Mr. Dupree, you've done a lot of work in the city around energy efficiency in your buildings and your properties, and you installed EV chargers in your properties. Thank you for that. Please focus in on the business opportunity and from a developer point of view, and somebody who is very involved in the built environment in Concord and how important weatherizing can be.
Well, thanks. I'm glad to join you here today. I'm into weatherization because I'm cheap and like to save money. It's a very simple thing. We are huge consumers of energy in our office and hospitality properties. And the first property we built in the area was the Comfort Inn in 1989. That had been post-Carter years when people were thinking about energy. And actually my first experience with weatherization is I bought the first passive solar house purposely built in the city of Concord by New Hampshire Savings Bank, which was a demonstration model at 31 Columbus Avenue in 1980. And I got a great deal on it because I had to have an open house 6 times a year, but it was built in conjunction with what was then Concord Gas and Concord Electric. So I had an early introduction. When we built the Comfort Inn in 1989, we thought we were on the cutting edge, but I will tell you, in 2007, we redid the entire hotel, all new windows, all new exterior insulation, all new siding, all new roof insulation, all new energy efficient boilers, energy efficient lighting, and it dropped our energy consumption by 50%, which was huge. We didn't enjoy the rates then for supply that we do now that are very low. We've learned from that effort back in the early 2000s that we should design all of our hotels that way. There's been an incredible increase in building technology and awareness. For those who've been around a while, you remember there were no such thing as building wraps done on houses that were new build construction before almost 1995. Back then, you just didn't have that sort of thing. So now all of our buildings that have been new construction have probably the highest grade windows you can get. We upgrade our roof insulation. We have building wraps on every building that we build, the Smile building, the Love Your Neighbor building, and then a great more detail, or actually specialists in just doing caulking and sealing to make sure that those seals and those penetrations stay good. And in fact, we inspect every building we have at least once every other year with nothing but a caulking energy insulation specialist, just to make sure we're not having any air loss, which then is cold air in and out, or hot air in and out, which then costs us more energy. So we've done a lot of solar projects, passive solar that you've met, active solar, but I will tell you the greatest savings we have achieved in all of our buildings comes from either refitting with weatherization in mind, or right from the get-go designing that in mind. And both Liberty and Unitil have been tremendous partners in that, and we appreciate that a great deal. Even when we collect old buildings and get them, like what I call Chubb Insurance North Building, going through and redoing the lights there, or even in 2 Pillsbury Street, the old Blue Cross Blue Shield building, which we first redeveloped in 2000, but have since gone through and made extensive weatherization efforts, including checking that caulking every other year. That saves us more money than anything else we do. And any developer, particularly because modern clients or current clients look for energy efficiency, they want to see your energy usage profile. They want to know what you've done on an active basis to improve not only weatherization, but energy saving. And frankly, it becomes a selling point for most newer businesses that are populated by people a lot younger than us. Or me, want to know what your energy profile and energy use is. So it's a major selling tool, and this is a great effort by Concord.
Thanks, Steve. And one aspect that is quite important as we move through this program is how are our most vulnerable residents, those who have the least amount of resources and are bearing the brunt of costs, are going to benefit. And so I want to turn it over to Chris Vogt from Belknap Merrimack Community Action to talk about how that aspect of the program will benefit those folks in particular that are in most need.
Good morning. Can you hear me? Well, as mentioned, I'm the Director of Housing Rehabilitation and Energy Conservation at the Community Action Program of Belknap and Merrimack counties. We're one of the 5 community action agencies in the state, which offer more than 70 programs to the low-income community, and one of those programs being weatherization, which would normally be sort of outside the grasp of many of the households that we serve. And the weatherization program, it's not marketed much, but the gateway to the weatherization program is through the fuel and the electric assistance benefits programs through the community action agencies. So if a client is eligible and qualifies for fuel and or electric assistance benefits, then they automatically qualify for the weatherization assistance program. And that's when we get the list of names to add to our database, and then we research. Fortunately, but unfortunately, there is a prioritization schedule that we have to follow. We're mandated by the Department of Energy. So we do have to prioritize our clients in not only Concord, but we serve 38 towns and cities in Belknap and Merrimack counties. So we do have to, we're spread very thin. And then the other 4 community action agencies take care of the rest of the state. So there's very few people in our that are specialized in our skills. So we're always working on workforce development and trying to recruit new people into the industry, because that's been our biggest hurdle. But we do partner with all 4 of the New Hampshire utilities, including Eversource, Unitil, Liberty, New Hampshire Electric Co-op. We are funded by the Department of Energy and the Building Weatherization Program on the federal side. And we do work very closely with the Office of Strategic Initiatives, other groups such as the Residential Energy Performance Association and Resilient Buildings Group. We partner with them to bring as much reach into the community as possible. So once our clients are qualified for fuel and or electric assistance, we make it a point to contact them. We have energy auditors on board. We'll do an energy audit in the home with a series of diagnostic testing. We look for health and safety issues. We look for opportunities in insulation and air sealing. And as was mentioned previously, it is like putting a blanket over your home, and it helps not only in the winter, but it helps in the summer with overall comfort in the home. Air quality is a huge focus. We focus on ventilation. We need adequate ventilation. We need to make sure that combustion appliances are venting properly to keep carbon monoxide and other issues keep our clients out of harm's way with those. And the program absolutely works. It absolutely does. Once the energy audit is done, we have vetted contractors. We assign a work order to our contractors. We do in-progress inspections. And we also do final inspection when the work is complete. And everything is communicated to the clients one step at a time. We're not forcing anybody into anything that they don't want to do. Sometimes people are a little hesitant to allow us in their homes, but once the project is finished, there really is a lot of good testimonials that it does benefit. I went through personally the New Hampshire Save side in October of last year. We had our house done. I don't live in Concord, but I live a little bit further south. And we have all electric heat in the home. And the difference between 2019 and 2020 is in 2020, we're now doing remote schooling and remote working from home. So we're heating an extra 300 square feet of the home, which we did not heat in the previous years. And we're still using less kilowatt hours and less energy, with more computers going, more heat going, more lights going, with somebody being home 24 hours a day, essentially, at least a parent and a child home. So they're really, the benefits, they speak for themselves. There's always savings involved. Without getting too technical, the program works, and we're trying to reach as many people as possible. And I'd be happy to answer any questions or guide you to any of the resources for either the low income side for fuel and electric assistance or the market rate side with the New Hampshire Saves program. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. So now we have 2 Concord residents, Madeline Minot and Carl Cooley, who have practical experience in terms of the projects that have been done in their homes. And so I'm going to tell us a little bit more in detail about the difference that that has made. And I'll turn it over to Madeline first.
Thanks, Rob. I'm a little bit here in a dual role. I'm also the executive director of Clean Energy New Hampshire. So in my professional role, I advocate and I work a lot on the energy efficiency resource standard, which is the underlying state policy that supports these energy efficiency programs that the utilities administer. And so I work a lot on some of the detailed planning of the programs, and it's certainly something we really support. We work a lot also on education, and we help energy committees statewide launch programs like this Weatherize program. And so it's really great as a Concord resident to see it happening in my own city. I definitely try to practice what we preach. And so when I first became a homeowner in 2014 and bought our house here in Concord, it was not exactly up to my sustainability standards. I love the charm of old houses, and that's definitely what, you know, sold me on this house. But it is almost 100 years old, and we have oil steam heat, and that's not really, you know, what I wanted, and it's kind of expensive. So I have this multi-year plan to get the house up to what I really want it to be. And the absolute first step for us was weatherization. So I enrolled in the NH-SAVE's Home Performance with Energy Star program, which is what Weatherize Concord is promoting, in 2018. And so I put in information about our house, our fuel usage data for the past 2 years, which I was able to get from our oil company. And then it, you know, said, yep, you definitely qualify for the program. You're not being super efficient with your fuel use, considering the square footage of your house. So we were scheduled for a home energy audit. The energy auditor came to our house and did, you know, looked around, did a blower door test. So that looks, they literally blow air into your house through the front door and see how much of it is leaking out everywhere. And so that's a really great way to measure it. And they looked around everywhere. And then we got the audit report, which was a detailed list of all the weatherization measures that were recommended for our home, as well as the cost, the payback, and what the NH-SAVE's programs would give us for a rebate. So it was great to look at that. We're planning on living here for a really long time. And so for us, it made total sense to make all of the investments that were recommended. At the time, the incentives were not as great as they are now. So if you enroll in the program, you're going to get an even better deal than I got when I did it 3 years ago. So we did the full suite of recommendations. Mostly it was insulation in our basement and in our attic. So in our basement, there was about a 1 foot space between our foundation and our ground floor that was totally uninsulated. And as a result, one thing that I hated about our house is that in the winter, our first floor floors were freezing cold, and it was very uncomfortable. You had to wear socks and slippers and all of that. And insulating that, they just put insulating boards and spray foam around it, made a huge difference. And then we also spray foamed our whole attic, which really helped with what's called the chimney effect, which just takes air in wherever it's coming out and it just goes out your roof. We also had huge ice dams. We actually totaled our car in our driveway from a huge ice dam falling off our roof onto our car. We haven't had any ice dams or any ice on our roof since we did the measures. And so lots of added benefits to going through the programs. So we've definitely seen the savings from our oil bill. We've definitely seen much improved comfort in our home. As I mentioned, the floors aren't as cold, it's not as drafty. And now I'm going through all the other parts. So we just got a heat pump to start phasing out our oil heat. And next I'm planning on getting a wood pellet stove. And so that's allowing me, but it was really important to do the weatherization first so we could right size all of those other investments in the future. That's my story.
That's a great story. I'm sorry about your car.
That's all right. It was actually my husband's car. We were away on vacation and our neighbor called and said,
Bad news.
yeah.
Wow. Carl, what was your experience?
Well, our experience was in some ways the reverse of Madeline's. In 2014, we moved from a charming 100-plus-year-old house in downtown Concord to a house on West Toppington Road, about a mile out of beyond the hospital. The house was built in the 1950s and built fairly well. And the previous owner was a chief engineer for the city of Concord. So I thought, well, they've taken care of things effectively with this house, and I wasn't so worried about its possible inefficiencies. But it faces directly south. What you see behind me is a lookout in our backyard, and I thought it would be an ideal setup for solar panels. So we put 34 solar panels on the roof and installed air source heat pumps to replace heating from a oil-fired boiler. and thought we had taken care of things. And the first year with the heat pumps and the solar electricity, we had gratifyingly very little need for electrical service to our house. But in the winter, our furnace did have to kick in, and we burned about 100 gallons of oil on top of the heat pumps. And that's about when the light went on in my head saying, well, maybe the house isn't as efficient as it could be. And around 2016, enrolled in the New Hampshire Saves program. And I don't have to re-describe what Madeline described. It was an incredibly easy and transparent process with choices for the different modifications that the audit recommended in terms of what they would cost and what they might save over time. We added substantially to the insulation in our attic, which at least at visual inspection looked okay to me to begin with, but wasn't. We found a number of areas, number of walls in the house that were not fully insulated because of some renovations that had been made since the house was built. We certainly found leakage around doorways and a similar issue in terms of insulating walls and floors in the basement to make the floors more comfortable. And the following year, instead of 100 gallons of oil, we burned 6 gallons of oil. And I'm quite certain that improvement was related to the heat pump. The other thing I would mention, or maybe two other things. One is that it was also very effective in keeping the house cool in the summer. And we don't have a lot of brutally hot weather here in New Hampshire, but we do have weeks when it's pretty hot. And we found that if we were button things up pretty well on those hot days, and then open things up a little more in the cool evenings, that the house was extremely comfortable. And we didn't necessarily have to run those heat pumps in reverse as air conditioners. We could just simply, use nature to cool off the house. The other thing is that I'm a retired pediatrician, and it's one of the reasons that I'm a member of the Concord Energy and Environment Advisory Committee and committed to the public health value of not only cleaner energy, but also this weatherization process and its impact on air quality. So I'm really happy with this result and encourage other Concord citizens to do the same.
Well, thank you all. Remember to visit weatherizeconcord.org to find out more and to sign up. And I want to see if there's any questions out there. We may have some members of the media. We certainly have members of the public. I just want to see if there are some questions that are hanging out there for our last few minutes.
Councilwoman, while we're waiting, maybe you could just go over again where people go, where's the website, how to participate.
Sure. The best way to learn more is go to, on the web, go to weatherizeconcord.org. You'll have all the information there in terms of how the program works, the benefits of the program, and how to sign up. And eligibility for this program is in part based on really the current energy efficiency of your home. There's really a measure when you go onto the website. There's a way for you to put in your energy consumption, the square footage of your home. And when you do that, you'll get a measure of how efficient your home is. And if your home is presently very efficient, there would be less benefit for you than if it isn't. So that will lead you to eligibility for the program. But we certainly want to do a lot of public outreach if hopefully things will allow later this year in terms of being out in the public, being out in town. We hope to have market days in August. For example, we hope to be out in the community promoting this program as things improve with the COVID situation. So that is the best way, though, to learn more, weatherizeconcord.org.
Rob, I'm seeing some questions come in on the QA tab, Q&A.
Okay. Yeah,
One of them,
thanks.
yeah, one of them was about ways that people can finance their co-pays for the program. So the utilities have a couple of financing options. One is an on-bill financing option, and people can just simply put the payment right onto their electric or gas bill. That's up to about $2,000. Over and above that, we partner with a bunch of local banks to offer energy efficiency loans. So people can finance the rest of their copay up to about $7,500 through those banks. And it's a real easy process. We try to make it as smooth as possible.
Great. Take a couple questions. There's a question for Chris. What are the biggest barriers to performing energy efficiency projects for our low and moderate income residents?
The biggest barriers that we come across, number one being the limited availability of people in our trade. There's very limited skilled workers, either on the technical aspect or the installation aspect. And that's something that we've been working on with the state of New Hampshire and various community colleges for a while, is to increase the awareness of, basically workforce development. It's a huge industry, but there's very little interest in it, I think. And now more as time changes and climate issues become an issue, I think that is changing. But getting people on board, getting the message out there that, there is an industry here. It's just like any other trade, electricians and plumbers and carpenters and such. It's the same deal. There's certifications. There's there's entry level, and then there's all the way up to expert level. And aside from that, the other barriers on the low income side is a lot of times our funding sources. There's some red tape attached to the funding sources, and the home needs to be structurally sound. There can't be very many existing health and safety issues in the home, and we do work with the clients to try to address anything that may stand in our way from completing a full weatherization project in the home, but that can be time consuming. But other than that, other than those two hurdles, it's full force, and we're just trying to expand our reach out there in the community and help as many people as possible.
Thanks so much. And there's also, to note, these programs really pay for themselves. So I think we're always looking for more resources, and the more resources that we can gather and put into these kinds of efforts are going to have tremendous payback for the entire community. So that's a larger public policy question perhaps, but certainly something that's really important and we need to pay attention to, making sure that we fund these programs adequately. I don't see any other questions, and we're a little past time, and I want to thank everyone for joining us this morning to launch the Weatherize Concord program. Thanks to our utility partners. Thanks to all who participated in this conversation today, and you'll be hearing a lot more about it. And one last time, visit weatherizeconcord.org to find out more and to sign up. So have a great day, and thanks so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you for your time.